Hello everybody, and welcome to the Simplify Dolphin release webinar. My name is Guy Clairbois. I'm the CTO of Simplify. In this webinar, we will take you through our newest release, and we'll show you all the new functionality we've built in the past couple of months. During the webinar, I will be assisted by Ivy, our head of engineering, and Matt, our lead Salesforce consultant. But before we start, there's one thing that you've probably noticed by now. There's a friendly little fellow prominently waving at you on the screen. Let me introduce our new release naming convention. Since Simplify's first launch in 2018, we've named our releases according to the main Salesforce releases, so the seasons basically, spring, summer, winter. But we realized that this is not very intuitive to our customers and employees, particularly on the Southern Hemisphere. And it can be confusing in terms of timing. So we embarked on a quest to find a new theme around our releases, looking for something fun, international, and reflecting our core values. And what is more fun, social, and international than animals? So for our 10th Simplify release, the honor goes to the dolphin. Dolphins are highly sociable mammals that establish close links with other individuals of the same species, and even with dolphins of other species sometimes. They seem to show empathic, cooperative, and altruistic behaviors too. And those happen to be some of our customers' key aspects too. What better way to kick off our new release naming? So let's see how this works out if we put some social animals into our release cycle. As you can see, we still have 3 releases per year. The timing of the releases doesn't change either. We still basically follow the Salesforce release cycle and tend to plan our releases 1 to 2 months after the main Salesforce release. So we have time to adapt to any new functionality or technical changes. But from now on, we'll have a mascot animal for every release. This will make it easy to figure out which release we're talking about, both for ourselves internally, but also when talking to our customers. Also, as always, when we release new functionality, it can basically have 3 different statuses: pilot, beta, or GA, which stands for generally available. Typically, if we first want to test and fine-tune new functionality with a small group of customers, we start in pilot mode. If we have functionality that's already more fleshed out but not fully functional or finished yet, we can release it in beta mode so customers can test it out. And lastly, if we have functionality that is ready for production use, we release it as GA. Not all functionality needs to go through all phases. In many cases, functionality will immediately be generally available because the requirements are clear from the start and we just build and deliver it. Let's have a look at the release schedule. The development for the Dolphin release started back in June, and we are now ready to deploy it to our customers. The release notes have been published, and all documentation was updated on our documentation site. Some customers have already tested the new release in their sandbox. Let us know if you prefer that as well. From this week on, we will be approaching all customers to plan a date and time for the production upgrade. So let's have a look at what is inside the release. We have quite some exciting new features for you. On the area of loan and grant origination, we finalized our document management module, which is now generally available for all customers. Also, the open banking integration that Matt demoed to you in the spring webinar was promoted to GA status. There's also a completely new piece of functionality that is immediately available, which is conditions precedent subsequent. And lastly, we have initialized our client portal Accelerator setup. Loan servicing is again packed with new features. Worth mentioning here are accounting subledger, for which we've extended the beta phase, a brand new quick loan calculator, which you will get a nice demo of later on in the webinar, new functionality for loan activation, and also an extra day count convention for our interest calculations. Last but not least, our mentoring module is now generally available as well, as it proved to be fully production ready. We will now dive into a number of these new features to explain them further. And in some cases, you will get a nice live demo by Ivy or by Matt to show you what we've built. So you can see we have demos for document management, for the conditions precedent subsequent, for the quick loan calculator, and for loan activation. Let's start with document management. So during the last couple of months, we've been working with a number of customers to fully finish the document management functionality. We're now ready to make it generally available. Some of the recent enhancements were better file previews, making fields from different objects available on the overview screen, and combining fields from different objects on that screen. We also made some performance optimizations, and obviously also some bug fixes as well. So get in touch with your customer success manager to get this set up for you. Ivy will now do a small demonstration of the new features of document management. Go ahead, Ivy.
In this release, we have further enhanced our document management app to allow you to dynamically add the fields that you get to see about your files that you've uploaded. So I'm going to add the created by field. I would like it to be before my created date, and I'm going to click on save. And you can see it's dynamically added at the correct position. We have also decoupled our app in such a way every time you add it to a page, you are able to set different parameters for each page. So for example, in the contact page, the fields that we would like to see are the title, the field type, created by created date, and for this field, we'd like to know what's the size of the field of the file as well. And I'll click on save. In addition to that, we have made it easier for your Salesforce administrators to be able to dynamically set parameters that control our app, right? So for example, when you're uploading a file, you can be able to add default values. So in the account page, we have said that for description field, we would like it to default with my document. So we'll go back to the account. We will begin to upload a file. And you can see that once we click on the upload button, our default is my document on the description field. We'll go ahead and click upload. And it's as simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivy. Let's go to the next feature, which is the open banking integration. After having developed our integration with Bank Connect, we've been running it in pilot and beta mode for more than half a year. So we now feel sufficiently confident to add it to our standard tool belt. As we've stated before, the open banking integration offers advanced new possibilities to your origination process. It offers customers the option to share their bank details, to authenticate a bank account, pull bank transactions and balances inside Singlify, and to verify the identity of the client. It also includes integrated analysis of clients' finance data. So if you want to see a demo of the open banking functionality, you can revisit our Winter 22 webinar or have a look at our YouTube channel that also has all the webinars and demos. Another feature, which is actually new, is conditions precedent subsequent. Sounds quite interesting, but what exactly is that? Condition precedent is an event that must occur before a contract can be fulfilled. So in case of lending, it can mean that lenders require that borrowers provide certain documents or information before they will make funds available. On the other hand, conditions subsequent mean that there is a condition that must be satisfied by the borrower within a set time period following the drawdown. So it's subsequent to the drawdown. That condition could, for instance, be used as a precondition for any subsequent disbursements of new tranches of a grant or loan. So we now enable you to capture any condition on any object level in Singlify. That could be contract related, investment related, or any other standard or custom object. And not only can the condition be captured, but we also enable you to link workflows, validations, email notifications, and tasks. Matt has prepared a demo for conditions, so go ahead, Matt.
Adding conditions to Singlify is now really easy. Here I am looking at an application record, and you'll see that there's a button up here in the top right corner called New Condition. To add a condition to this application, I select the New Condition button. Now I can enter in information about the condition. I can select which member of staff of the customer is responsible for satisfying the condition. I can relate it to a specific contract record and/or a specific investment related to the application. If I select the investment and that investment has multiple disbursements, I can also select which disbursement this condition relates to. I can set a due date, assign it to myself or a colleague, and set the status and priority, as well as add any supporting comments. If I select Save, you'll see we get a notification that the condition has been created. It's possible from the application record to see all of the conditions related to the application. Selecting a condition, we can then see information that was entered about the condition, along with which records it's related to. And of course, because this condition is related to these records, if we navigate to them, we'll see all other conditions related to them. Indicating that a condition has been completed requires me to select the Mark Complete button. I can also upload any supporting evidence as a file. That's how easy it is to add a condition to Singlify.
Thanks, Matt. Very interesting. Let's go to the next feature of the Client Portal Accelerator. So a very frequent request we get from our customers is to help them build a portal where clients do things like applying for funding, managing their current loans and grants, asking questions, or reporting back on their impact made. For the past couple of years, we've gathered best practices and templates used by our customers, and we've started turning those into a set of ready-made materials to kickstart your portal development. We call this the Client Portal Accelerator. Currently, we're developing this in beta mode, so it's ready to try it out by any customer. If you want to be involved, reach out to us, please. The next really exciting feature is the Quick Loan Calculator. So our brand new Quick Loan Calculator enables any customer to easily configure a quick way for both employees and potential clients to calculate the monthly installment for any kind of loan product and to get a preview of what the loan schedule will look like. Behind the scenes, you can configure the options available to the end user, like presets and minimum and maximum values for loan amount, interest, and number of installments. This is a much requested feature, and we're happy to finally help our customers replace outdated and inflexible calculators with this new tool that is directly connected to the Singlify loan calculation engine. Ivy has prepared a demo of the Quick Loan Calculator. Go ahead, Ivy.
Great news! From this release, you can now use our Quick Loan Calculator to be able to determine your monthly repayment. So what do you need to do? You just need to slide the slider for the amount up to the desired amount of the loan, your interest rate, right, as well as your period, which is in months. You then also have the option of setting your grace period. So for this one, we have no grace period. And every time you click on the sliders, you will notice that your monthly repayment period will slide to the left, will increase or decrease depending on your new parameters. We also provide you with visibility to what will be the total interest to be paid for the parameters set, as well as the total repayment amount. Please note you can also view the repayment schedule if desired. And you can go back to the loan parameters and adjust them. We've also made it in such a way that you can provide this to your community so your customers can be able to predetermine for themselves what will be the monthly repayment given certain parameters. In addition to that, we have made it easy for your Salesforce administrators to be able to set parameters in which the calculator can operate in. For example, they can key in the max and min amount that can be entered, what would be the incremental value, what is the default value when somebody opens that loan calculator. The same applies to the interest rate and number of months. We've also made it in such a way that you can show or hide the grace period if desired. Thank you.
Thanks, Ivy. So let's quickly go on to the new feature, loan activation. So loan activation is particularly used for a line of credits. The functionality that we keep expanding now with every new release. This time we added the ability to activate loans without actually doing a disbursement. This allows, for instance, for the charging of monitoring fees to kick in right from the contract start date instead of just from the disbursement date. Also, the split between activation date and disbursement date allows for clearer reporting on loan status and loan KPIs. Again, Ivy has prepared a demo of loan activation. Go ahead, Ivy.
From this release, you now have the capability of activating a loan prior to disbursing it by clicking on the Activate Loan button, selecting a date of activation. So I'm going to say that we activated this loan on the 1st of September. We can give a reason. The loan is approved, and we can click on Confirm. Please note, by doing so, the status of the loan becomes active. You are now able to see what's your activation date, which may be different from your disbursement date, right? On the date of disbursement, when the time comes, you can click on the Disburse button, go ahead and save your disbursement, and voila, your activation date and disbursement date are both unique, if that was what was desired, and you are then able to keep track of when did you actually say that the loan is active and when was the disbursement actually done. It's that simple. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next feature I'd like to discuss is a new day count convention, the 30E360 ISDA. It's one for the accountants among us. As you know, day count conventions are used to determine how interest accrues during the life of the loan. So next to the three types we already had, we now have developed a new variant, the 30E360 ISDA. It's the most commonly used day count convention in Germany and many other parts of the European mainland, so we consider it a must-have for expanding into this territory. On the right side of the screen, there is the detailed explanation of how it works. If you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. The next feature we'd like to discuss is the mentoring module. So we've seen this before because we've been beta testing the new mentoring model for the past couple of months, and it is now actually fully beta tested and ready to be used by all of our customers. So to quickly refresh your memory, the mentoring module enables you to manage the mentoring needs of investees and connect them to the right mentor, managing the mentoring relationship, plan meetings and reviews, and have a full view of all mentoring received by investees and report on the impact of the mentoring on their business. So our Spring 22 release webinar contained a demo of the mentoring module, and you can look back at our YouTube channel, either as the whole webinar or just the particular demo of the mentoring module. So next to these main features, we've also made a lot of other improvements in the Dolphin release, which I'll quickly go through. But please reach out or consult the support site if you want to have more information about any of the features I'll mention. So to start with, we've invested quite some time into performance testing. So we conducted some series of heavy load testing on the system to ensure consistency and reliability even under extreme loads. We ran migrations of over 20,000 investments, including around 300,000 repayment schedule records and 300,000 transaction records. And we tested the day-to-day processing of 20,000 transactions per day. Based on this initial testing, we made some small performance tweaks, but we will be repeating the stress test upon every new single-file release, and will be expanding into larger volumes to match our future customers' needs. Then we made some improvements to the loan screen and the loan fields that are shown on there. So on the custom loan view edit screen, which you're all familiar with, you can now configure fields to be hidden in edit mode. So prior functionality was that you could hide fields in view mode, but you can now, basically hide them either in edit mode or in view mode, or in both if you prefer. We also introduced a new set of fields around the number of installments. So we basically have two separate fields for the initial number of installments, including and excluding grace period. And we introduce an additional two new fields for the current number of installments, including and excluding grace periods, that reflect the number of installments after any reschedules or schedule editing, etc. We also added a new field called First Principal Repayment Date, to automatically filled with the first date on which a principal repayment is due on the loan, so usually after our initial grace period. Also, we made some fixes to loan health checks that were incorrectly reporting health check errors after writing off parts of a loan. And then another page of improvements. Under the hood in the loan processing logic, we made a couple of improvements. So we made improvements to internal transfers to better support more advanced scenarios like transfers of open interest balances and also write-offs as part of internal transfers. And then we made some changes in terms of auditing and tracking changes. So whenever a loan schedule is edited manually, we now track the previous value of any changed fields so that we have better audit history and more granular validation rules can be set up on the manual schedule edit. We implemented the same logic for rescheduling as well. So we now track the previous value of any changed fields in rescheduling. This enables you, for instance, to set up very granular validation rules. For instance, blocking any interest rate changes larger than 1% in a reschedule. As a last change on loan processing logic, we have made some changes to variable interest. So we no longer allow the deletion of variable interest rates. Instead of deleting, interest rates can now be deactivated. This ensures that we always have the proper audit history trail on any changes that occur on loan schedules. In the transaction logic, we implemented a new setting by which customers can control whether or not forecast transactions are generated by the system. These transactions are typically used for fund cash flow forecasting, but are not needed for all customers, so you can turn it off and possibly have your system perform a little better. Lastly, on accounting subledger, we introduced something called journal entry labeling. This enables you to more easily distinguish between the different events that can lead to a journal entry. If you're interested to hear more about any of the features, as I said, please do reach out. We've also already had a look into the next release and what we intend to deliver there. Anything on this slide is forward-looking, so please don't buy your purchasing decisions on it. Safe harbor statement applies even to the release animal. So let's get started. On the area of loan and grant origination, we're starting new pilots on KYC and AML integration. Do note that we do not plan to develop this functionality from scratch by ourselves, but will rather build a framework for integrating with different third parties that have already built extensive functionality around KYC and AML, which is often tied to local rules and legislation. Next to those, we expect to be finalizing our client portal Accelerator setup, so we can offer that to any client that is interested in setting up or revising their client portal. Another main focus of the upcoming release will be credit scoring. Many customers and prospects have asked us to develop some level of automation for credit scoring. And there are basically two options we want to explore. The first one is integration with a third-party credit scoring service, just like we do for KYC and AML. But at the same time, we also want to further develop our capabilities for building the credit scoring functionality within Singlify. We already have some basic functionality for that in the package, but we'll work together with a small number of customers to extend that and build a customizable rule-based scoring engine. For loan servicing, we finally expect we can round off our accounting subledger module, making it generally available for all customers. There are still some more complex scenarios to deal with in the next couple of months. Next to that, we are finalizing the new early repayment fee automation module. We've spoken to a large number of customers about their requirements in this area and are now ready to round off the development. And there's more. We're adding some advanced features to our guarantee and provisions functionality, particularly around adding more automation to guarantee fund management and managing guarantees and provisions in situations where loans are transferred between clients or between different loan products. Lastly, we will start a pilot oriented towards recovery management, the process where loans can follow different trajectories of recovery. We plan to set this up in a way that our customers can define their own recovery management strategies, but can make use of the standards and templates in Singlify to automate and track the whole process wherever possible. So that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Well, as a closing remark, if you have any questions about our new or our upcoming functionality, get in touch with us. You're either your Singlify representative or me directly, or contact us at our general email address info@singlify.app. The full product documentation and the complete release notes are available on our support site, support.singlify.co.uk. And this release webinar and any other video materials can also be found on our YouTube channel, which you can reach by the URL that's shown on the screen. So, thank you everybody for attending. I hope to speak to you soon and see you later.